Yandy breaks down in tears on television. Mendeecees, "Oh Rasheeda," is no longer someone I can trust. The matriarch of Atlanta's hip-hop and love scene, Yandy Smith-Harris, has long been regarded as a strong, driven, and unquestionably elegant woman. Yandy has persevered through the difficult highs and lows of her marriage to Mendeecees and the juggling of parenthood and business. Both cast members and viewers have been disturbed by a recent dramatic on-camera revelation. For the first time, Yandy let her guard down and disclosed a betrayal that came from two unexpected angles: Mendeecees Harris, her spouse, and Rasheeda Frost, a lifelong friend. A flurry of heartache, dramatic admissions, and a public reckoning that would permanently alter the dynamics of hip-hop and love ensued. The tears fall as the camera rolls. The initial goal of the informal sit-down interview was for Yandy to discuss her business endeavors and continued advocacy. The lighting was flawless, the cameras were rolling, and the producers anticipated a typical uplifting update. Rather, they received an unanticipated, unpolished breakdown. Yandy said, "I'm tired of pretending," as she brushed away the first of many tears. Her voice cracked. "I'm sick of acting as though nothing is wrong when I have no idea who is standing next to me anymore." The air hung thick with her words. The interviewer took a moment. The script did not include this. She said, "I can't trust Mendeecees." At last, Rasheeda is also untrustworthy, and more than anything I've experienced on this show, expressing that saddens me. A covert betrayal. Production-related sources claimed that the emotional bombshell had been building for weeks. Yandy had been more wary of her husband's mysterious phone calls and frequent late-night absences. She initially put it down to business. Mendeecees was constantly working hard and trying something new. However, she lost her peace of mind one evening when a text message was left on his unsecured iPad. No woman sent the message, at least not in the romantic sense. Rasheeda Frost sent it. The timing and secrecy, rather than the content, were what surprised Yandy. It read, "Must be between us. I don't want her to know. Not just now anyhow. Let's follow our plan." Yandy stopped. What was causing her buddy to text her husband in this manner? Putting the pieces together, she initially made an effort to persuade herself that there must be a rational explanation. Perhaps it has to do with business. Perhaps Rasheeda was assisting Mendeecees in planning a surprise for her. However, Yandy became aware of further indicators as the days went by, including uneasy tension during filming, whispers between Mendeecees and Rasheeda during events, and an increasing feeling that she was the last to learn of something significant. In an attempt to get Rasheeda to be honest, she confronted her personally. "What plan?" Yandy posed the question while holding up her phone to show the text. Rasheeda paused. "It isn't what you believe. We were attempting to keep you safe." "What am I being protected from?" Yandy demanded. Rasheeda gave a hesitant and ambiguous response. "I didn't want you to get involved in the Mendeecees and business-related issues that are currently going on. But it was too late. The damage was already done." Mendeecees' perspective on the matter. Yandy didn't mince words when she addressed her spouse. "I noticed the messages. You've been keeping something from Rasheeda," she said. "I must find out what it is." The texts were not denied by Mendeecees. With a sigh, he reclined. "Yandy, it's business as usual. That's all it is." The Frost Bistro expansion had certain negative effects. As I cleaned everything up, I asked Rasheeda to help me keep it quiet. "However, why keep it from me?" Yandy inquired. "Why is my friend instructing my spouse not to tell me via text message behind my back?" Mendeecees provided no convincing justification. He stated that he didn't want to cause her any anxiety. "You already have too much to handle," he added. However, Yandy felt it was insufficient justification, not merely a friendship. The emotional closeness between Rasheeda and Mendeecees hurt more than the secrecy. Their communications were intensely intimate but not flirtatious. They talked about regrets, anxieties, and choices that ought to have involved Yandy. In a confidential notebook, she admitted, "I felt like the third wheel in my marriage. Rasheeda is more knowledgeable than I am. She participates in choices that have an impact on my life. That's not acceptable." Fans responded quickly. Social media was ablaze with conjecture. Rasheeda constantly presents herself as above the drama, but at the mess she's in. Yandy is worthy of better. Respect is at stake here, not just trust. Rasheeda retaliates. Rasheeda used Instagram Live to defend herself after the program aired. "I would never treat Yandy with such disdain," she was adamant. "She is like a sister to me. Mendeecees approached me for business counsel, and since it was delicate, I kept it quiet. That's all. No foul play was involved." However, not everyone was satisfied with her explanation. Why the concealment if her goals were good? Why are the texts so cryptic? And instead of approaching her buddy directly, why did she go behind her back? The tipping point. The last straw was when Yandy confronted Mendeecees and Rasheeda in front of the group during a cast dinner. Yandy looked between them and stated, "I need the truth. Just the truth without any filters or cameras. What's happening?" Mendeecees got to his feet, clearly irritated. "Do you want the truth? All right, I made a mistake. I ought to have explained everything to you right away. However, Rasheeda did nothing improper. It was I who failed to inform you." Yandy looked across to Rasheeda. "How about you? You were aware of my pain. Why didn't you approach me directly?" Rasheeda's eyes filled with tears, "As I didn't want to betray your confidence, and I lost it while attempting to defend it." The aftermath, anyhow. Following that meal, Yandy had to make a tough decision. For a mental reset, she left the house she and Mendeecees shared and took their children with her. In a video journal, she stated, "I need to find myself again. Before I can forgive, I must heal." In a different interview, Mendeecees said that he still cherished Yandy and expressed his desire that they could reconcile. "I made a mistake. I ought to have put all my trust in her. I take her for granted because she is my wife." Meanwhile, Rasheeda received criticism from both cast members and fans. Some people trusted her, but others doubted her commitment and motives. What follows? Now Yandy and Mendeecees' marriage is in jeopardy. The pair is reportedly receiving therapy, but Yandy has not committed to getting back together. Regarding Rasheeda, there is still tension in her friendship with Yandy. "I love her," declared Rasheeda, "but if she never looks at me in the same way, I can understand." Fans were devastated by Yandy's parting remarks during the tearful episode. "I've given everything to the people I love. My time, my loyalty, my trust, and somehow I ended up feeling alone. That is not the intended feeling
of love." Responses from fans. There was a flurry of support for Yandy from the love and hip-hop community. YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter were flooded with supportive posts. Yandy is worthy of better. For a period. Rasheeda is no longer able to sit on the fence. Either you're a faithful buddy or you're contributing to the issue. This was Yandy's weakest point, and she wasn't worthy of such treachery. Many even advocated for a Yandy-centered spin-off that would concentrate on her business endeavors, independence, and recovery without the drama consuming her. A woman took it back. One thing was evident by the episode's conclusion. Yandy was only bruised, not broken. Stronger, wiser, and more certain than ever to never dim her light for the comfort of others, she was rising once more. As the sun sank behind her, she stood on her balcony with the view of the Atlanta skyline. "I don't know what tomorrow looks like," she stated, "but I know who I am, and that's more than enough." A silent moment of strength was captured as the camera gently pans out. Hurt and heartbroken, but never defeated, is Yandy Smith Harris.